Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is an Object 257. It's a Tier 9 Soviet heavy tank and it's located on the northeast spawn of Live Oaks and it's under the command of reight, or reight. Well, what can I tell you about the 257? Well, it's one of the precursor tanks that became eventually the IS-7. It's got a 122mm gun with penetration of 248mm and an alpha damage of 480.
Platoon created.
And he's platooned with somebody. Okay. Now there were several tanks that were actually considered for the IS-7 design. This was one of them. The 260, Object 260 was another. And there was a few others as well, and Wargaming has since actually brought some of them into the game, but not all of them. And of course the IS-7 was the one that was originally, or actually finally manufactured. Now the reason the 257 was actually designed was because during 1943 the Soviet forces encountered the Ferdinand, and they suddenly realised what a potent tank destroyer it was. And they needed a tank with really heavy armour to stop the Ferdinand wiping them out with one shot. And so they started the IS-7 project. And this is what they came up with. The first one, the Object 257. And it's carrying 22 rounds of APCR, which is standard ammo, and 10 rounds of heat ammo, and 8 rounds of HE. Now it appears he's the only one who's gone into the city. Everybody else has stayed out. Now, there's a Progetto, managed to make his way up using the swamp area in the centre. And he's putting back a bit, using the ridgeline for cover. Nobody's actually scouted forward other than the M41. And so unfortunately he's the first one to see this Wizzy 11114, the Tier 9 Chinese heavy, and here it is, fires around in, he gets hit in the tracks, and he is tracked, and he's been rammed by the Wizzy, aiming for the Polar, gets a shell through, 409 hit points, and bounces the round from the Wizzy 111. Oh, that's a round from the enemy Arty. He's going for the cupola again. Fires one through and he gets a hit. This time round it's 445, but he's still doing damage. And he's pushing this 11114, keeping him in a grapple. Going for the cupola again. This time he wipes him out. There's a Scorpion G over there. Can he avoid getting hit by the Scorpion? His platoon mates actually hit him. His platoon mate's one of the Artys. The other one is an ST1. When he's pushing ahead, he's already picked up 1.3k of damage and 1.9k of damage assist. Oh, he didn't have the gun aligned. He fired when the gun was looking elsewhere, and that shell was lost altogether, and now he's pushing and tracking the Scorpion, wipes him out from the side, 292 hit points. So he's got his second kill. He really didn't wait for the gun to be lined up before he shot. He should have waited till he got the rescue on him. But no use now crying over spilt milk, just needs to get on with the job, killing the enemy. There's still two heavy enemies out there. One's a Type 4 heavy, the other's a Lerva. And we can see that they are a little further away. In fact, actually, the Type 4 has just been wiped out by our Ferdinand. So it's only the Lerva to the south. We've got one tank advantage at the moment. And Wright is pushing forward. There may be an Su-101 somewhere nearby. Last seen in grid square F3. And there's an Object 416 over there. That's a medium. And he's taking fire. There's the Su-101. He's been seen. And we're lining him up for a shot. He's seen us as well. We take him out with one shot. There's the enemy Arty, a back chat 155.58. Hopefully our Arty will take notice of that and immediately strike that 155. Oh, we just got hit by the other Arty, the 155.55, the single shot one. Pushing forward.
We're immobilized.
Oh, we've been tracked. Fire around him, but that back chat's actually behind cover. And that's why we couldn't hit him. And he's moving backwards and forwards behind cover.
Let's roll.
Okay, tracks are done. And looks like our RT did fire around him, but I'm not sure he got the kill because nothing's turned up. So I presume that back chat's still there. And yes, he is. And he's now dead.
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
So 3 kills. And we get hit again by another enemy RT, the M40, M43. And he's straight forward ahead. And that was the back chat 155 again. And this time round he tracked us. Can we see the damage? Oh crumbs, look, it went in through the side. It actually did penetrate and damage the track. And looks like we've had some splash on the gun as well. Okay, he's moving ahead. The splash on the gun is why the gun is damaged at the moment. Hasn't used his repair kit because he's still on cooldown. There's the M40. Oh, and he was shotgunned by the M40, but the M40 was taken out by our Object 261, so our platoon mate got a kill by our spotting, and we picked up the spotting assistance. Now, where is that back chat 155.55? He's probably loaded again by now. There's only 3 enemy left, and we know that the back chat 155.55 is over on the woods on the south side of the map. And he was waiting for him to fire around in at the guest position, the estimated position, but he didn't see him. So I suspect he held his fire. Now the Lurver's going to report his position, and that means the back chat will be firing as soon as he knows where right is. And the Lurver's getting hit. So we spotted him. It looks like he didn't spot us though. And we're creeping up on the woods, going around the cap, so as not to tell the back chat where we are. And we think he may be in this corner because we know where the pattern is, we know where the lurver is, we just don't know where the back chat 155 is. We're loaded standard ammo at the moment, APCR. There's the back chat, yep, and he's pointing the wrong way, but he will turn his turret. Oh, no, he doesn't get the chance to. One shot kill, he's out the game. So that's Reight's 5th kill. If he can get this lurver, that will be his 6th, and he will get a top gun. He's dialing in, and yes! And that wins the game, 415 hit points, and he's very satisfying indeed to win it on a top gun. So let's have a look at the end of battle results. It's an ace tanker for Reight in the Object 257. He also picked up a spotter for spotting at least 1,000 hit points of damage for his team during that battle. A shell-proof for blocking more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle. A duelist for taking down 2 enemies who did damage to him during the battle. And that would be at least the M40, M43 and the back chat 155.55. And he got a 5 for effect for dealing more damage than his hit points. But best of all, he picked up a Pascucci's for getting the 2 Arty kills and a Top Gun for getting at least 6 kills in total. And we can see them all listed here. So let's have a look at team scores, see where he stood. Well, if we look at damage, we can see that Reight did get the highest amount of damage, but he didn't pick up the high caliber, so it couldn't have been 20% of the enemy hit points. He managed to get 3,209 hit points of damage. The pattern on the enemy team managed to get 3,158. The next highest scorer was the Ferdinand with 2,467, as I mentioned during that battle. The Ferdinand was the reason why the Object 257 was created in the first place, because it was such a potent tank destroyer. Then when it comes to kills, obviously Reight got the top spot with 6 kills, then the Ferdinand with 5, and then a whole bunch of other tanks with 1 kill. The highest score on the enemy team was the Lurver. He only managed 2 kills, but the rest of his team could only manage 1 each on some of them. When it comes to base XP, it was Reight again who managed to get the highest amount, 1,241. Then came the Ferdinand with 902, then the Object 430 with 749. So let's have a look at detail. Well, he fired only 12 rounds during that battle. He got 10 direct hits, 8 penetrations. One, of course, those missed shots was the one that actually went into mid-air when he was trying to fire at the Scorpion. Of course, he hadn't allowed the turret to swing round before he shot. He was looking at the Scorpion, but the gun wasn't looking at him at the time. He did damage of 3,209 hit points, and all of it was at closer than 300 meters. He received 10 hits from the enemy. 4 were penetrations, 6 were non-penetration, and 1 hit was a result of splash damage as well. He blocked damage of 2,350 hit points in total. He spotted 5 enemy vehicles, damaged 6 of the enemy, killed 6 of the enemy, and did damage assistance of 1,878 hit points. On a standard account, he earned 40,709 credits. He also got compensation for damage caused by allies of 1,044, and it looks to me like he was actually hit by a round from one of his teammates for that sort of compensation damage to be given. So one of the shots that hit him and penetrated him was probably one from his own team, a blue on blue, probably while he was trying to grapple with the Wizzy 11114. He received 41,753 credits in total, therefore, and after repair, ammunition resupply and consumables, he actually came away with 7,946 credits. And I don't believe he actually used APC heat ammunition during that battle. I don't think he used any premium. He just used solely APCR for the whole round. He also picked up base XP of 1,241, times 2 for the first victory, so he took away 2,482 XP. Yes, it was a bit of a lone wolf attack. He's actually called it the lone wolf attack. He was the only heavy that went towards town. And in fact, actually, he had to defend himself when that Wizzy 11114 found him. And he put up a very good defense going into a grapple, because he knew that once the Wizzy 11114 had gone head to head with him, he couldn't put shots into his lower plate. He could only shoot at the cupola on the 257, and that enabled him to shoot at the cupola on the 14, which is one of the weak spots. And so he was getting penetrations every time, whilst the Wizzy 11114 wasn't, and that was the problem for that tank. Yeah, he did very, very well, especially considering he was also trying to deal with a Scorpion. He was very nearby, and he could have planted shells into the side of reight to effectively equalise the score for the Wizzy 114. But that didn't happen, and therefore he was able to go on a one-man killing spree through the enemy ranks on the city side of the map. So if you enjoyed this replay, please give it a like and do subscribe to our channel, and hopefully it'll be your replay that I'll be featuring in the next video.